waiting, I feel like, becomes different when you realize you're not waiting alone. If we really, really grab hold of the fact that we are not waiting alone, we will wait differently. So if listeners are in a waiting season, or what I would call a wilderness season, you're not alone. And then look for God making himself known. So there's a saying, when in the wilderness, look for the mountain of God. That's where hope begins to rise again. That's the purpose of the wilderness. A wilderness is where it's still hard, there's provision, and you're going to encounter God, the mountain of God. And then at some point, you get the commission to go into the promised land. So that's your next season. And that's where the things that he's promised come true. They don't necessarily come true on the mountain of God. They don't necessarily come true in the wilderness. They come true in the promised land. And I'm using those terms sort of metaphorically, but it's very practical to know, okay, I'm in a wilderness season. I need to look for the mountain of God.
It's so incredibly practical. My brain just watched the whole thing happen. And I'm like, I've never heard it that way, but it follows that pattern every single time.
Every time.
And then once you can follow the pattern, you're like, okay, there's purpose to this waiting.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for giving us permission to see that, because
You're
now
welcome.
my brain and the wiring of my brain has now been rewired to be like, okay, this is not the end. And even though I consciously know that, but there are like landmarks that I can look for now that previously I was like, okay, when's this going to be over? When's this going to be over? Versus like, okay, wilderness, mountain, commission, go. Wilderness,
Right.
mountain, commission, go. Like, I got this now. I can do this.
Yes. And there's an ending to this, right? It's not a lifelong wilderness. I mean, it was for some of the people. They were the people who missed the mountain of God. They just went around and around and around. And then they didn't want the commission. If you see someone who's sitting on the pews and they've been sitting in the pews for 40 years and they haven't changed and they haven't matured and they haven't become more intimate, I'm not making a judgment call. I'm just telling you, it's because they're going around the mountain. And if I'm a shepherd in their life, I'm going to say, all right, what did you miss? What commission did you miss? What commission did you say no to? Where did you doubt God because of the giants that you saw, right? Because the promised land comes with giants you're going to have to slay and some really hard things. But you'll be ready for it because you'll have been hardened into strong people in the wilderness. Unfortunately, there are people who just go round and round and round that mountain and don't accept the commission. So that happens too.